we're going to talk about rose geranium oil. And it's one of my favorites because, as I was saying, it's like an adaptogenic Ayurvedic herb. Adaptogenic herbs are herbs that work a whole system, like ashwagandha is an adaptogenic herb. So I consider rose geranium to function the same way when it comes to women's health, mental health, physical health, reproductive health, hormonal health, all of it. So we will have our conversation about this fabulous oil today. First, I'm going to have a little smell, show you what it looks like. Oh, this oil is extremely fluid. It's a nice thin oil. You can see how quickly it runs. There's a couple of drops on there. It is a pale green color. My goodness. And the smell of it is absolutely perfection. You can wear this all by itself as a perfume, and it blends with 1,000 different oils like magic. If you're just in mixing for pure perfumery. I'm sorry. I'm going to rub a little on because I have it here and I want to keep smelling it. You want to smell it?
Yep.
This is rose geranium. Oh, yeah. You have patchouli on today?
Nope.
No?
But it go good with it.
Put a little bit of it with patchouli. You will think you're dying on to heaven. Fabulous stuff. Fabulous. It's not too stimulating, but it is mind clearing. It's not stimulating in the way that lemongrass is stimulating, but it is mind clearing and slightly sedative to the mind. It won't make you feel sleepy, but it will make your mind feel calmer and more at ease. We'll talk more about that as we go. Okay. This is an up-close picture of the rose geranium. You've seen geraniums. There are over 800 varieties of geranium. There are 200 of them that are in the pelargonium group. And the pelargonium is a scented geranium. And scented geraniums are, you have lemon geranium and mint geranium. And today we're talking about rose geranium. There are a handful of rose geraniums that are cultivated for their perfume. And some of them are cultivated, the pelargonium rose geranium is cultivated in two styles, regular essential oil and a bourbon. And my personal favorite is the bourbon. The chemistry is just about the same. It has to do with the plant and the altitude for what qualifies it as a bourbon plant. They're really the bourbon oil over the standard rose geranium essential oil has more notes to it. For a sensitive sniffer, your nose is going to notice more things. You're going to smell more green, and you're going to smell more floral, and you're going to smell a little more of an alcohol type smell to it. There's no alcohol in it, obviously, but there are plant chemicals that give it that aromatic sense. The bourbon is typically used more for perfuming, although constituent-wise, it is pretty comparable to regular rose geranium essential oil for the purpose of healing. The oil is distilled from the leaves, and it is a pale yellow-green color. Their bushes are about 3 feet high, and they have there's little tiny hairs all over the leaves, and the leaves are very lacy. They're called serrated leaves, but they kind of look like little hands. And the edges are very scallopy and serrated, as they call it in the plant world. Typically, the rose geranium flowers are pink or white. Sometimes they're a little deeper pink, um, but you can't really identify, separate out your um, Pelargonium graveolens branches from other geraniums by their flower color. You need to have, you need to know what you're getting up front by, and you can tell by when you crush the leaves. You can smell the rose in them, but no, if you're going to use Pelargonium graveolens in any kind of food or tea, you want to make sure that you have those, that you have the right plant, because some geranium plants are very, very poisonous. Um, Currently in Italy, the rose geranium is used by physicians in hospitals to relieve anxious states in patients. Um, it's less sedating than lavender, but sedating enough that patients can calm down and have conversations with their doctors, go through their therapies and treatments with a much reduced state of anxiety. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later too. Um, Pelargonium is a Greek derived word from pelargos, or stork, since the fruit resembles a stork's bill. And these plants are really oily. They produce 60 to 75 kilograms per 10 square kilometers every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. That's about the harvesting cycle. These plants are prolific, and when you cut the leaves, they grow back. If you have a geranium in your yard that's not doing well, cut it back and water it, and then leave it alone, and it'll come back. They like to be pruned, they like to be cut. You'll get more flowers and you'll have healthier leaves. Okay, these are some of the chemicals in the active chemistry in a rose geranium plant. They're very high in citronellol. And you know, we talked about one of the other plants out there already that is very high in citronellol, which is lemongrass. So you can, there is a little bit of that grassy green smell to this plant. Geraniol, which is specific to geraniums. In the Chinese type, which is the bourbon type, this is 5 to 12%. In the Egyptian type, it's 10 to 18%, depending on the heat during the week of the harvest. And a couple other chemicals here that are small but very specific to the rose geranium and typically the Egyptian type. We'll move forward here to the therapeutic effects of rose geranium oil. It is an effective adrenal cortex stimulant that supports the primary hormonal regulation of the male and female sex hormones. It is a strong diuretic that affects relief during premenstrual phase of a woman's cycle. So when you have bloated hands and fingers and swelling ankles, using rose geranium oil will help to really relieve that swelling and bloating in your body. Tip also good to know is that as you use a diuretic essential oil, especially during this time of the month, you also get swelling on the brain from your hormones. And so you get pressure on your brain, you get those pressure headaches, and you get the mood swings. Diuretic is a really great and simple and gentle way to help your body flush fluids from your system that make you really uncomfortable during your premenstrual phase of your cycle. It is excellent hormonal support throughout the life of a female, from early puberty until the other side of menopause. It is a lymphatic stimulant that can cause flushing of the fluid from cellulite, ankles, and abdomen. Again, when you get swelling and bloating in your abdomen, that adds to the kinds of menstrual cramps you can have. So this is a really great oil. You can soak in the tub in it. You can rub it on your belly, and it will help relieve that edema in the area, which increases your menstrual cramps. Um, my favorite part is the mood elevation and a mild stimulant that is, it's a stimulant, but it calms your mind. It's not a crazy stimulant like lemongrass, but it lifts you up. It gets your brain open and focused without making you feel like you have to vacuum the house 17 times. It is a gentle but very effective antiseptic gargle for mouth and throat. When you have ulcers of the mouth, sore throat. You want to take the bell with you?
Very good. You got a diamond.
Woo! Sore throat or gums. When you have sore throat, or when you have, when you brush and your gums are bleeding, or you get the little ulcers in your mouth, you can add this to some warm water and a little baking soda, and it is a really wonderful antiseptic gargle for your mouth. It is a restorative tonic for liver and kidneys, because it helps to stimulate elimination. Let's see. It calms nervous diarrhea. So if you get, a lot of action before when you have a stressful situation, or you've got an event coming up and your guts are going crazy, this is a really great oil to help calm that down. You can put 2 drops on a teaspoon of brown sugar or on a teaspoon of honey and eat that about an hour before the event. It'll calm your tummy, it'll calm your guts, and it'll help with the nervous diarrhea. It is considered by Oriental medicine as a cool and moist in energy, so it clears heat and inflammation. It calms. Yes, I said it.
What's that?
Moist.
Moist.
It's a Chinese word.
Does it help with discharge?
It does. The hot kind.
The other word I ate.
That's an awful word. Considered, so it clears heat and inflammation, hot flashes. If you are having hot flashes, this oil spritzed on your skin, on your face, will cool your skin off, will cool you down. It relaxes nerves and calms anxiety, and it powers up your chi. Oh dear. And it compares to lavender and geranium. It compares to lavender and German chamomile for use in inflammation. So it has a really good effect on inflammation, joints, arthritis, all of that. We'll talk about a few more here. It is mentally relaxing. It is a skin rejuvenator. It helps to heal scars. It helps to smooth out cellulite and the early signs of aging. We get the crow's feet and we get the lines here and here. This is really fabulous face oil for women. You start using this oil as a young girl, and all the way through menopause, your face will glow. This is... What do you want? This one? Okay. It's all right. He wants to smell it some more.
I'm working on something over here.
Okay. So it's very good for anti-aging. It is safe for use in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy for mood-lifting baths and for reducing the swollen feet and ankles and legs that you get, and relieving veins in your legs that have a lot of pressure. So it can help support your venous system in your legs, where you might have strain on them, causing varicosities. You can use this in a warm compress if you have mastitis when you're nursing. So, a warm hot towel and soaked in some warm water and some rose geranium oil applied to the breast will help to relieve the pain, relieve the inflammation, help with any infection that might be going on, and help the milk flow to start again. Rose geranium is also really great as an oil for baby for colic. A warm bath or a warm compress on the baby's tummy will be really helpful to Naomi needs this in bulk now. It's Naomi, it's such a great oil. So this is also really good even for baby. Um, if you have really severe dysmenorrhea, this is been tested as very effective for symptoms of dysmenorrhea between 5 and 20% dilution. So 5% of an ounce is going to be 15 drops, and 20%, do your math by the drop. If you ever need help figuring out your maths, I can help you with that. But at 5 to 20%, this is extremely beneficial during this period of your cycle, segment of your cycle. uh, it You can use a cool or a warm compress with it for headache. Sometimes I want a warm compress if I've been clenching my teeth and my face is really tight and sore and I have, a tension headache. But if I have a migraine, it needs to be as cold as possible. You can use it either with cold or hot compress and find that you have relief. It can be a little strong if you are having a migraine that is olfactory sensitive. So I recommend starting with 1 or 2 drops before you increase to 4 or 5 or 6 for a headache. If depending, if you are having olfactory sensitivity with a migraine, it can be really strong. Rose geranium is really great for gastroenteritis, stomach ulcers, travel sickness, vomitings, and yes, you weirdos, if you have worms too. If you have worms, this will get rid of them. But if you have chronic upset stomach, or if you have certain types of stomach ulcers, or you get car sick, again, you can put a little bit in a spoon of honey and it'll calm your stomach right down. It's a really good, consistent treatment to help heal and reduce a stomach ulcer. And if you have spastic guts, this will calm them down. We talked about that a little bit ago. If you have interstitial cystitis, which is the swelling and irritation of the lining of your bladder, sitz baths and oral doses are really good for handling interstitial cystitis. Once you have a pretty severe case of interstitial cystitis, everything seems to irritate it, and it feels like you'll just start to get better and it'll inflame again. This is a really great oil for calming down the lining of your bladder, both through topical application via sitz baths and through a finite oral dose. If you have a wound that's trying to heal a scar and the scar is slow to heal, you can blend a little coconut oil, you can blend a little jojoba oil and some rose geranium oil and begin applying it to your scar, and it will help with scar formation. It'll help keep the keloids down, as well as help the mending of the skin so that it closes completely and heals up. It is a hemostatic, so if you have bleeding, if you have cut yourself in the shower and you have to get out of the house, a drop or 2 of rose geranium oil directly on your nick will stop the bleeding. It is a gentle and very pleasant treatment for herpes and shingles, especially for the shingles. There are a few oils that you can put on shingles that don't come without a lot of fire involved. There are a lot of essential oils that people use for shingles that are very hot, like capsicum, and a lot of people can't tolerate the heat of those oils on their shingles, but rose geranium oil is really, really gentle and effective for the shingles and the herpes. It helps the wound heal up, it helps it close up and dry, and it helps the skin close. And it also helps to slow down the shedding of the virus cells. So, rose geranium oil. It is an analgesic and an antispasmodic, making it useful for nerve, eye, and joint pain. Don't go pouring essential oils in your eyes. Just because we're just talking about eyes here doesn't mean you can pour essential oils in your eyes. This is painful and really hard to get out of your eye. Really hard. Make a compress, a cool compress for the eye area. Make a warm, salty soak for joint pain. Make another type of compress, or just rub it right in where you're having an area of neuralgia. Sometimes I get really, I call them hot spots. I get areas where my nerves inflame and the skin is real painful to touch. The muscle is real painful to touch. And a few drops on there, and depending on the weather outside, either a hot or a cool pack on top of it will help settle down that neuralgic pain really quickly. It is also used for, yes, okay. It is also used for inflammation of the tissue around the eye. Again, cool compresses. Don't put oils in your eyes. And I will use this moment to tell you, if you get an essential oil in your eye, don't put more water in your eye. Don't put contact lens solution in your eye, because that's just going to disperse it more, because oil and watery things don't mix up. You want to take some clean oil, some clean sunflower oil, some clean olive oil, any kind of oil that's, you know, clean, not, you haven't used it, you haven't stuck your fingers in it. Put a couple of drops in your eye of the oil, and then use a Q-tip and go along the rim of your eye to absorb all of the oil out of your eye. This will attract the essential oil. Your sunflower oil will draw the oil all into one place, and then you can scoop it out using a Q-tip or a clean washcloth or a tissue. That's the best way to get it out.
Good,
yeah. Don't put water in your eye, because you'll get it all up in your lid up in here, and sticking a Q-tip in that part of your eyelid with an oily Q-tip up there in that part of your eyelid is not fun. It's not fun at all. Rose geranium oil is slightly astringent and is oh boy, I spelled that word wrong. It shrinks tissues. It is, so if you have a hemorrhoid, if you've just had baby and you have hemorrhoids from delivering your baby, or you have gastric problems and you have hemorrhoids, mixed with a little witch hazel and rose geranium oil, you're going to find that you have a wonderful compress blend for taking care of that delicate tissue back there. It's great for varicose veins. And if you have really heavy periods, a hot soak in some rose geranium oil will help slow down your flow. And lastly, we have here, that is, with all that citronellol, we know that it's going to be a really great mosquito repellent, right?
I had that in my notes.
Did you?
I did.
Good job. What do you have?
Can I interject?
You can.
So, being an outdoors person, really outdoorsy here, this smells a lot like, well, not a lot, but in part like the bug spray that we use.
Like the lemon citrus,
yes. And you also mentioned it's homeostatic.
Yes.
And when I'm out in the bushes hunting around and when you go, we don't go on trails, we're crawling through mesquite.
Yep.
And we get cut up. If you have bug spray on that's also homeostatic, that's like battle ready bug spray. That's good stuff.
It absolutely is.
It's battle ready bug spray right there. Good stuff. I'm smelling this, and this is one we've never gotten around to at home. You haven't introduced me to this one. I mean, we have hundreds of oils here, so getting to it is all of these is awesome. But this is actually for the rose. It's rather masculine. Mm-hmm. When I used to go down to my perfumist down there.
Yeah, it's not a pink high floral. It's a woody rose.
Yes, it's this is nice. And if you are blending your own fragrances for your man, or you are a man, there's a fragrance line called Diptyque. That's one of my favorites. I got
Mm-hmm.
you a Diptyque
Mm-hmm.
perfume when we met. And there's two of their scents that I wear. They make a geranium, and they put a little bit of rose in it. It might be geranium rose, and I'm smelling it,
Mm-hmm.
but it comes off as very masculine. And I know when people smell it, like, that's not like a crass, heavy male musky. It's the opposite end of the scent profile,
It's
but
brighter.
it's a lot brighter. But at the same time, it's what's the word I'm looking for in terms of scent? It's like a domesticated smell. It's a very
It's soapy.
it is soapy, but yeah, it's well, domesticated soap.
Mm-hmm.
Domesticated will generally have soap, but it's more of a sophisticated men's gentler smell. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want to say. If you do want your man to smell good, that's nice just for.
It's nice.
And with the patchouli,
Meow.
it's the contrast of the two
Right.
ends there that here yeah, like that. So that's good stuff,
That's
people.
lovely.
That's my 2 cents worth right there. But for the bug spray alone, it's awesome.
Yep. Thank you,
So,
sweetie.
you're welcome. Here's your scent.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Some of the things that rose geranium is listed for in untested folk medicine, but we know, I will always add this, we know that folk medicine used over time is used over time because of results that can be repeated. So here is the list. It has been used for healing fractures, eliminating certain types of cancers, helping to pass kidney stones, easing neuralgia, conjunctivitis of the eye, which is pink eye, clearing up laryngitis, easing migraines, fresher breath, killing the bacteria in your mouth that causes halitosis, relieving lumbago, rheumatism. I have neuralgia in there twice. Awesome. Really good in the hair for dandruff and oily hair. Good on burns, good on congested skin like psoriasis and eczema and acne. Dermatitis, which is, you get a contact dermatitis, you touch something and your skin inflames and you have some hives. Here you go. Herpes, thrush in the mouth, shingles, and wounds. There is deep wound care and simple wound care instructions and recommendations when using rose geranium oil. So if you ever come across that, please let me know and I'll be more than happy to give you some really specific instructions on that. Rose geranium oil is shown to offer a lot of emotional support with agitation, apathy, confusion, despair, despondency, discouragement, fear, irritability, jealousy, lethargy, moodiness, nightmares, OCD, and restlessness. Um, these are the emotional sets that rose geranium focuses on, and I particularly like it when I'm feeling like I need to sweep the house 10,000 times, or when I can't go to sleep, or when I can't calm down a perseverating thought, or I feel kind of fighty. Rose geranium is one of my favorites.
Keep that in mind.
Yes.
By the way, your D Live, I've tried to reload a bunch of times here. So you got 12 people. The comments are moving, but I can't see nothing.
Okay. Well, let's have a peek.
Can everybody on D Live see you just fine?
Can you guys see me on D Live okay? Did you refresh your?
I did, like 10
okay,
times.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, well, as long as they can see you.
Okay,
fine.
as long as you can see me, we're good.
All right, I can't for whatever reason, but.
Okay. So, rose geranium is really effective when dealing with cancer, chemotherapy, and radiation recovery. I have a little recipe here for you 4 ounces of jojoba oil, an ounce and a half of shea butter, and 24 drops each of rose geranium, lavender, rosewood, and rose oil. You're going to need to melt your shea butter in a double boiler. Just put some water in your pot, put a jar in the pot, and put your shea butter in the jar. Heat it on low till it's melted. Take it off and let it start to cool, and add your jojoba oil and your essential oils. Stir it, and maybe put the lid on and give it a good shake, really good and hard, and then pour it into your container. And this is going to be your after radiation therapy cream. Every place that, if you are having if you have breast cancer and you're having radiation treatments on, in areas around your chest and your lymph nodes and your neck and so forth, you're going to want to take the cream and rub it in every place that you've been targeted with the radiation. This is going to help support the skin from frying during radiation, and it's going to help you not be over radiated. You're going to get enough radiation therapy from your treatment, and this is going to help keep your skin from frying and burning and breaking open and bleeding while you're having, your successive treatments. A water-based there was a study done with a water-based cream application that had 3% lavender, 3% rose geranium, and rosewood, and it was applied every day to the excoriated, fried, and malodorous skin of some bedridden patients who were also taking chemotherapy and radiation therapy. And even under extremely rigorous chemical blasting during their treatments, the skin area treated with this blend was able to heal and close during all the treatments. So if you begin applying it as you go, starting with your treatments, you will find that your skin does much better, and it doesn't fry, and it doesn't open up. So there's a recipe for you for staying, maintaining your skin integrity during your treatment time. Let's see. Next slide. And a couple of studies and it's really nice oil during for elder care as well. There were a couple of studies by Bowles in 2005 and Nishimura in 2004 in their healthcare facilities in Australia and Tokyo, and they showed a significant improvement in the quality of life for elders who received a twice weekly treatment that included lavender, tea tree, bergamot, eucalyptus, and rose geranium oils. Most facilities used aromatic foot baths, hand, foot, and limb massages. And one other study by Satu in 2013 showed that the use of rose geranium oil and peppermint in jojoba twice a week reduced psychological stress among patients in long-term hospitalization. So twice weekly, if you're having a lot of stress, you could use it every day, but a minimum of twice weekly is adequate enough to bring your stress levels down enough that it's measurable by comparative inquiry. So this is really a fabulous oil to keep in your apothecary for managing your stress and for taking care of the seniors that you have in your homes. How to use fresh rose geranium. The leaves and the flowers can be dried and steeped in tea. Apple scented and rose scented are both safe geraniums to consume, and they smell wonderful when they're steeped in your tea. The leaves are used in jellies. Leaves and fruits are infused in vinegars for dressing. This is leaves and flowers, pardon me. This is really fun to do. Get a nice vinegar, beautiful bottle, and pack it full of geranium leaves and flowers, and your salad dressings will come out absolutely amazing. You can crush or bruise the leaves If you're out and about and you've got an insect bite, a freshly crushed leaf rubbed against an insect bite will take the sting and the itch right out of it. The flowers are edible and can be used to decorate cakes. They can be used frozen into ice cubes, so you can have pretty party drinks. And you can chop the leaves really fine and add them to soft butter. Allow your butter to set at room temperature to soften up. Chop up your leaves, stir them in really good, and put them in a little mold. And it makes a really tasty biscuit spread. You can use the leaves to polish wooden furniture. Just crush the leaves and rub the leaves right on. The oil in them is very rejuvenating to the wood, and it makes your house smell heavenly. You can make a tea and a spray for your plants to get aphids to take off. If you don't have a bunch of ladybugs in your yards handling the aphids, you can make geranium tea and spritz your plants that are affected by the aphids. Thank you. And the aphids don't like the geranium, and they will go away. You can mist a stale room to brighten up the aroma. And make sure that you have a rose or apple geranium, because other geranium types are toxic. I have another little recipe here for you if you feel like mixing up some perfumey things. This is my Venus oil. You want a third part ylang ylang, which is very thick and sweet and heady and floral, your rose geranium, and your cardamom for a little spice, and put up to about 4 drops of Roman chamomile in there. And this oil is wonderful for attracting all of the Venus qualities, love and friendship, and to promote beauty. This is a feminine blend that will draw all of the aspects of Venus into your life. As he racks his gun.
Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, do not use this on children under the age of 6. If you're very sensitive, it may cause a little bit of sedation. In some people, it can cause some skin irritation, and to be avoided by pregnant women in their early trimester and nursing mothers, unless you're treating a mastitis. Rose geranium is a middle note that blends well with bergamot, lavender, Cedrus atlantica, which is a cedar wood, clary sage, vetiver, frankincense, patchouli, chamomile, myrrh, basil, and rose otto. Rose otto is the rose oil that, when you say rose oil, you think of fields of big, fat, pink headed flowers that smell like syrup, honeybees, and sunshine. That's the sweetest rose you could come across. And lastly, to our magical use of rose geranium oil. It associates with the zodiac sign of Libra, the solar system. The planet is Venus. The elements, it is water. It is a water element that balances wood energies. It is the sacral chakra oil, and the color is orange. The stones associated with rose geranium are ruby, garnet, and carnelian. The note or tone would be C, and it strengthens yin, or the spleen meridian. This calms, cools, and settles the will and the mind, restores mental balance, and used in preparation for spell work involving emotions and female focused cycles and energy. Used in spell work during specific points of the lunar phases. What are you snickering about over here?
Mix those Xanax for heightened effect.
Hey now. You might need to. I use this in spell work that includes divine feminine, love, fertility, health, creativity, sensuality, and relationships. So that covers all the material I have organized for you today.
What is the oil for Taurus? Does Taurus have a specific dominant oil? Someone's asking.
The oil for Taurus, you know, what are you looking for?
My literature, if you don't
Okay.
have it handy, but I know it's somewhere. I know I get some literature somewhere here. So keep going.
Okay. I would put rosewood with Taurus, and I would also put vervain with Taurus. Do you have any other questions? I can answer some. Paula in Mesa wants to know what oil for Aries. Basil and oh yes, start with rose geranium, spirited woman, and add jojoba oil. And I don't know if you have a stone yoni egg, but I recommend them with your oils. Vetiver, yes, vetiver can give strange dreams. You're welcome, Naomi. Go easy on the vetiver.
Always easy on vetiver. It's so, even it's grassy, it's so powerful. It's just there.
I could roll in it though. I love it.
Yeah, a little goes a long way.
But it's definitely a daytime oil. Rose geranium. No, a yoni. Yoni. Let me.
Any of the grounding herbs will go with Taurus.
Yeah.
So it's recommending, mint, coltsfoot, sage, lang lang, cardamom, vetiver, grounding oils.
Yoni. Yoni. Thank you, Corey. Yes, yoni. You want a yoni egg and use them with your oils and start there. And if you need more help, send me an email and I will help you.
Cheryl wants to know, where do you purchase this? At Whole Foods or online or somewhere?
You can, I have it available at the Wicked Vine Apothecary. It is this oil's oil of the month. So if you're a member, you will be getting a shipment of it. You can find it at Whole Foods. You can find it at Sprouts.
Mention the quality of your oil.
Oh, I will tell you, I have worked with my growers and importers for the last 20 years. And I know the quality of their oils. I even went out years ago to meet one of my importers, and I spent 3 days in his warehouse having the grandest time smelling everything from around the world. He brought out a metal container about this tall with a little screw top lid, and it was wormwood oil, and he handed it to me, and I opened it up, and the first smell of it was just putrid. It was mossy and rotten and wet and dank, and it was putrid. It was just putrid. And then, but my brain kind of worked on it, and I took it back from him and I sniffed it again. And the second time around, it was sweeter. And the third time around that I smelled, it was, and every time I took an inhalation of it, it became sweeter and sweeter. And my brain wanted shorter periods of time between each inhalation. And then he took it from me and he put the lid on it and he set it over here. He said, "That's enough for you today." Essential oils can trigger all kinds of chemical releases in your brain. They can cause serotonin releases. They can cause all kinds of memory recall. And they can, certain ones, based on their chemistry and how they come up into the air and into your nose, they can make you feel a little high. And wormwood is one of those oils. And because wormwood is very high in thujone, it becomes toxic and addictive very quickly, as was demonstrated by the half an hour we spent smelling it out of that aluminum canister. But it was really fun. I got to see how he packaged his oils and sent them to me, how they came to him from all over the world. And I have worked with that company ever since. So I've been really careful about my choices. I make sure that if I use a new company, that I have a lot of good referrals. I order samples from them before I just go buying from them in bulk, because I want to make sure that you're getting the kind of quality that you deserve, the kind of quality that's safe and therapeutic and healing. Um, that's really important to me. Oh, I'm glad you are loving your bergamot oil. It's just heavenly. It's just heavenly. You can add it into your tea if you like to. If you have a low caffeine tea for nighttime too, AW. I do ship to Canada. Capricorn is an air sign. An air. Oh yes, you're quiet. Your quiet rest. Lotus oil, lavender oil, lemon oil for Julianne. This is a fun day today. You guys have any other questions for me? Oh, Capricorn is Earth. Sorry. I stick to those oils though. I won't change those oils. Bergamot, grapefruit, lime, and lemon is my signature scent. I custom make. That sounds really lovely. Yoni eggs, I'm going to go back to this.
Yeah, what is the yoni egg?
Okay, the yoni egg is a stone egg. It's they come in different sizes, and according to those that use them, you start with the largest one first and you work down to the smaller one. Basically, it's an stone egg with a little hole in it that you tie a string to, kind of like your tampon string, and you insert the yoni egg into your vagina, and your vagina holds the egg in place. This starts to build muscle strength and rejuvenates the overall pelvic floor by starting with it heavy. You can apply your essential oils to it and your carrier oil for lubrication, and also for activating of the vaginal lining. As your pelvic floor gets stronger, you graduate down to smaller and smaller eggs. This is one of the most effective and gentle ways to revitalize this area of your body during and after menopause. So there are yoni makers all over the internet. Find the one that resonates to you. I recommend that you get something that's really made from natural stone, and that you don't have to worry about spending a lot of money. You can find them in all price ranges, and it's not required to get a good one to spend a lot of money. Yes, that's the yoni.
So it's definitely not a one size fits all thing.
Well, yes, actually,
yes.
You start with the largest one, which is, I don't know, about this big. And then as your pelvic floor gets stronger, you don't need the largest egg, so you go down in size. It comes in a kit. It comes in a whole kit,
all right.
From the little baby one to the big mama one. And so you start with the big mama one, and you work down to the little baby one. Now, I never heard of it either, but
that's news to me.
Somebody introduced me to it a few years ago, and I was totally impressed. I had no idea, so I pass this on whenever I can. Yes, it will help keep the atrophy away, and it will wake up all of the little glands in there that should be making fluids for you.
Spirit Woman asked if you sell yoni eggs.
What's that?
Spirit Woman asked if you sell yoni eggs.
I do not sell those. I do not. Yeah, the hormone cream will give you the hormone cream. Oh, yeah. If you're taking a little bit of testosterone, that will give you some whiskers. Pluck them out. Get some wax. But try the yoni egg. You'll find that you probably don't really need the cream anymore. Lots of women at this age invest in a set of these and find that it is the best thing they could have done for themselves and their romantic life. Yeah. Awesome. Any more questions? Yes, it will help strengthen the muscles around that are involved with your bladder too. It will help with that. So no more dribbles. Get me some. Let me see if I can find you a link. You're gonna find a lot of really good quality ones on Etsy. I'm just going to point you in that direction. And I've also seen them on eBay from stone cutters. So those would be two good places. Go to Etsy and type in yoni eggs, and go to eBay and type in yoni eggs. I have not been impressed with the quality of the ones I've seen on Amazon, although they ship fast if you're feeling like you have to have one tomorrow. Um, so I personally think it's worth the wait for a good for a good cut stone. Any other questions? I'll give it a second here because it's a Yeah, you're right, spirited woman, it would. And it will really help with the personal discomfort. We did oils for Gemini last time, which was we did bergamot last time.
Yes.
Bergamot is a Gemini oil. Rose quartz and jade. Nice. Rose quartz is a great stone for that. All right.
Does it help after cancer, the egg? Is there anything to do with that, Julie?
Oh, yeah, you know what? It can, especially if you have a lot of scar tissue. In that case, if you've had surgery in that area, I would start with a small one. Lubricate it up really good with your essential oils, and be gentle. But it definitely will help with the scar tissue really slowly and gently. If you have more questions and you want to talk, you know, openly, email me. I will answer your emails. Um, Oils for Pisces, water babies. Oh, email. Here you go. Let me type that in here. There you go. Send me an email there if you have questions. Excuse me. Pardon me. It's hot in here.
Hot?
I'm hot.
Warmed up. If I turn on the AC for a little bit.
Okay. Oils for Pisces. Cardamom is good for Pisces. Vanilla is good for Pisces. And mandarin is good for Pisces. Okay. Hi, Sarah Jane. Vanilla is wonderful. Make sure when you buy vanilla is going to be expensive. And it's usually going to come in a bourbon. If it's just regular vanilla oil and it's very inexpensive, you're getting a synthetic. So be willing to spend a little money on there, and make sure that you get a bourbon. Oh, for Scorpio, oils for Scorpio. Frankincense for Scorpio, primarily. I'm mentally looking through my list. Orange oil.
Not my favorites.
Frankincense and orange oil. You know, that's a fun question, and I think that I'm gonna take a little time this afternoon and make up a chart of signs and corresponding oils. You guys, I will put it up on my website in my library. I'll let you know when I have it up. That's a fun question, and it would be a fun chart to have. Vanilla extract, vanilla bean and vodka. Yep, it does last forever. And if you use, if you pour the vanilla bean with the vodka out and you add your other essential oils to that vodka, the vodka will disperse the essential oils, and it'll become a tincture. But it's a wearable. It's like a perfume. It's an eau de toilette that way. So know that you'll be making a perfume out of it. It won't be very oily. Okay, I will get a chart up for you guys this afternoon, and you guys can check your signs there later this afternoon. How about that? I appreciate you guys being here with me. This is so much fun. I love putting these together for you, and I love talking to you and answering your questions. I really love being able to share what I know about this topic with you guys. It makes me really happy to do so. Thank you, honey, for helping me.
Welcome, baby.
All right.
I'm glad I learned it was a yoni egg and not a yanni egg.
Nobody wants a yoni anywhere near their yoni. I'm telling you right now.
Cleared up a lot for me today.
Oh, you guys. All right. Well, on that note, we'll see you guys later tonight over on Corey's channel. Thank you so much for being here with me. Sarah Jane, email me and let's talk about your anxiety, okay?
6 p.m. 9/11 special with special guest.
Okay, we're doing 6 p.m. tonight on Corey's channel, the Phoenix Enigma. On
occultic aspects of the 9/11.
And we are covering the occultic aspects of 9/11
Attack with special guest.
with a special guest this evening. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the other side of the chat later tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
See you later.